Hello everyone on YouTube and welcome back to another video. Excuse me for a second. In this video, we're going to be installing the world's most popular Linux distribution. That of course being Ubuntu. Yep, we're going to be installing Ubuntu. And the best thing is, you get to see the creation of the virtual machine, and we'll also be installing Ubuntu. And I'm using my Chromebook for this because Chromebooks have better cameras for starters, and also videos from this Chromebook don't take too long to upload either, so I've got more time to, if I want to schedule the premiere for a later time, then I can go ahead and do that without any trouble, because that's just the notification sound I have on my phone, based on the sound from Alterion. Fabulous MMORPG. You should try Alterion, it's a really good game. It's a fantasy themed game. It's one of the sounds from Mush Z. But anyhow, for future videos I'm going to be using this Chromebook. So let's bring the Chromebook over to my main computer so that we can do the Ubuntu installation inside VirtualBox. Now I have to hold my Chromebook. I need to make some room here. I guess I'll have to put my Chromebook here, because I can reach the keyboard here, and plus if I'm facing correctly, you'll be able to see me as well. But then again, the light's not on. I'll just have to... Now where am I going to move the keyboard? Ideally I don't have any room on this setup, and I want you to hear the installation of Ubuntu, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to... It helps if we got ourselves set up properly. I tell you what I'll do, I'll just hold the Chromebook like this for now. No, probably not. Well, how am I going to do this? Put the Chromebook here, and I'll have to hold the keyboard like this. This is temporary because we're only going to be installing. I'm only going to be filming the installation of Ubuntu and the setup process. Now this will be very similar to the Zorin OS video we did a while back. That we looked at. So I've already gone ahead and downloaded the latest long-term stable version of Ubuntu, which in this case is Ubuntu 20.04 LTS, codename Vocal Fossa. Anyway, let me just make sure I've got VirtualBox.
Download Magic Inbox Mozilla Oracle VM Virtual.
I've even got. Let me close Thunderbird down.
Linux torrents 2 of downloads Magic MIDI Inbox Mozilla Inbox VirtualBox C.
Don't need you open. And we're going to create a new virtual machine. So Control and N.
Create virtual machine dialog. Name and operating system.
It's recommended that you're using Windows for this because it's the most accessible when it comes to VirtualBox and NVDA. So I want to name an operating system. I want to call it Ubuntu.
UNTU. Toolbar. Down combo box C. Users Jordan VirtualBox VMS.
That's where it's going to be saved.
Type. Down combo box Linux.
It's going to be Linux. Yeah, it's already figured out that I want to install a Linux distribution on.
Version. Down combo box Ubuntu.
And it's Ubuntu, so we want...
Ubuntu, 64-bit.
Yep, we want a 64-bit instance of Ubuntu. So that is really cool. We've got a 64-bit version of Ubuntu downloaded.
Export mode, next enter button.
So I'm going to go click next.
Slider 1024.
Now this is... don't use the defaults. Ubuntu requires at least 2 gigabytes of RAM. So I've got 8 gigabytes of RAM in this computer, so I'm going to go give it 4.
24, 4608.
4608. That should be more than enough. Windows 11 can handle can work with the 4 gigs of RAM it already has.
Spin button 4608.
And plus it's using virtual memory, so I'm keeping that RAM where it is.
Next enter button alt right.
Let's go for next.
Create a virtual hard disk now. Alt-C radio.
Create a virtual hard disk. Yep.
Create enter button. Create virtual.
I don't want to use VDI. I want to use VHD.
VHD virtual hard.
Because it's easy to work with.
Export next enter button.
So we click next.
Dynamically allocated alt.
Dynamic. Oh, how do you want your virtual disk? Do you want it to be fixed size or dynamically allocated? For beginners, I recommend dynamically allocated because the storage will expand the more apps you put in your virtual machine. Must have a frog in me. I've got a frog in my throat today. I don't know why. It's just a play. It's just an idiom. Let me switch my phone off because I don't want it.
Charging stopped. Battery level 100%.
That's going to cause problems.
To open. Restart. Power off. Button. Row 1.
Power off.
Power off. Button.
There we go. I don't need my phone turned on while I'm filming. So where were we? Oh yes, how we want our hard disk on our virtual machine.
Next enter button alt right. Dynamically allocated alt D radio button checked. Next enter button.
So I'm going to
right.
go click next.
Unavailable. Edit C. Users Jordan virtual button. Choose slider 25,427,968 knob 10.00 GB.
And it wants to use 10 gigabytes. That is not enough. Especially if you want to install a lot of stuff on your Ubuntu instance. So I'm going to give
20,
my...
20 edit slider 29 20.
I'm going to give it...
Edit slider 33 million. Edit not slider 33. Button to slider 33 mil 33. Edit slider 30. Edit knob 208. Slider 20.
That's way too much. Let's see.
Edit knob 60.00 G. Slider 20. Edit knob 72. Slider 28 mil. Edit knob 64.0.
I'm going to give it 64 gig.
Create enter cancel. Edit selected C. Button slide edit not create enter button.
Because that's more than enough.
But virtual box C program.
And now our virtual machine is created. Now what I recommend you do is go into your settings, because I'm going to maximize the performance of my virtual machine, and here's how I'm going to do it. I press Ctrl and S on the highlighted virtual machine.
Ubuntu settings window matching.
So I've never actually done a standard Ubuntu installation. I've not done a video of just playing Ubuntu, the plain vanilla Ubuntu experience. I've done Ubuntu variants like Zorin OS, Accessible Coconut, Linux Mint, and Ubuntu Mate, but I have never done a full-fledged regular old version of Ubuntu. Yesterday I did a video of Debian, and that was long, but luckily this is not going to be as long as the Debian install because we're installing this on a virtual machine. And we're making the most of it. So let's see.
Basic Alt C tab can edit select type down combo version. OK hands allows to navigate through VM settings categories allows to navigate.
That's where you want to be. If you hear NVDA saying that, this is where you want to be. So the first thing I'm going to go through is serial ports.
Motherboard alt M.
And the motherboard that's saved, or that allows you to change the RAM should you need to change the amount of allocated memory. But what I want to do is go over to my CPU.
Processor Alt P tab.
And give it
slider 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 cores of my 6-core CPU.
Processors. Alt slide processor allows to navigate.
So I've given it.
Process slider for allows.
I've given it 4 of 6 cores of my total CPU. I've got a 6-core CPU in this computer. I've got an AMD Ryzen 5.
User interface storage. Split button. Use list all storage list. Controller ID list empty.
And this is the fun part. This is where we actually add our ISO image and we put it in the virtual optical disc. So I'm going to press Alt and D.
Menu. Choose choose a disk file.
Choose a disk file.
Choose a virtual optical disk file.
And what I'm going to do is
items a day grouping selected.
And here we go. This is the OMI file that's in our downloads folder. Press enter on this Ubuntu.
Ubuntu 20.04.3 desktop AM64 ISO 1 virtual box C.
And this shows you the total file size of the Ubuntu installation. media.
Live CD image 2.86 GB.
2.86 gigabytes. Standard Ubuntu.
C. List OK. Enter
That's a
button.
standard for Ubuntu.
Oracle VM.
And now our VM is ready to boot. So now that we've done that, we right click our virtual machine.
Menu setting. Move export. Remove group start alt.
Click start.
Normal
Start.
Oracle VM
And
virtual
away we
box
go.
Manager window. Split button. List. The Ubuntu virtual machine. Ubuntu powered off Oracle VM virtual box. The Ubuntu starting Oracle VM virtual box. The Ubuntu running Oracle VM virtual box.
Ubuntu is starting. Let's press enter to boot Ubuntu. And now we wait. You'll know when it's booted up because it'll play a sound, and that means we can switch Orca on. So let's just wait a little bit. This does take a while. There we go, and we can just switch Orca on by pressing Alt, Super and S.
Screen reader on. Install frame. Language select control.
The super key is our Windows key. Now what I want to do is, Ubuntu is actually going to go ahead and save our Orca settings once we've installed it. So I'm going to change those now. Saves me having to do that after the installation. So what I'm going to do is...
Screen reader preferences dialog. General page tab.
General page. Now I might have to reboot this virtual machine twice after the installation to get the maximum volume, because for some reason it likes to turn the volume down. So I want to go change some settings in here now.
Tab. Keyboard layout tab. Progress bar updates panel. Speak updates checkbox checked. Tab. Braille update tab. Beep
I want beep updates.
Checked. Braille speak keyboard layout. General page tab. Voice page. Speech page tab. Enable speech checkbox checked. Tab. Verbosity panel. Verbose tab. Punctuation level panel. Most. Some. None.
No.
Left control. Verbose enable speech checkbox checked. Speech page tab.
Speech page. I want to go
Braille
to
page
my
tab. Key echo page tab.
key echo.
Enable key space. Not check tab. Enable space. Checked tab. Enable X space. Checked tab. Enable echo by sentence. Enable key echo page. OK push button return. Screen reader settings reloaded. Install frame. Language selector. Table with 75 rows 1 column. English.
I want to use English.
Table with 99 rows 1 column. English US. English UK.
Oh, I think I pressed enter on the installer. Fair enough, we're going to go install Ubuntu. But there is an option to try Ubuntu if you do so wish. So I'm going to...
English UK.
I want to use English UK.
Table with 9 rows 1 column. English UK.
Yep.
Text. Type here to test your keyboard.
Type here to test your keyboard, and let's just type in something random. Cream.
C-R-E-M. Cream.
Emulsion.
E-M-U-L-R-N. Emulsion.
Paint.
P-A-R-T.
Cream Emulsion Paint. I don't know why I love Cream Emulsion Paint, but it just popped into my head all of a sudden.
Detect keyboard layout push button.
Oh, you can detect your keyboard layout, but my keyboard is working, so I don't need to do anything else now, so I can
Quit
just
push button. Back push button. Continue push button.
click continue.
Normal installation. Selected radio button.
This is exactly like other Ubuntu-based distributions that we've installed in the past. And here, the virtual machine, Ubuntu is assuming I've connected via Ethernet. So normally you'd get the Wi-Fi menu come up. You get Wi-Fi settings. Now it's asking me what type of installation I want. If you're new to Linux, I recommend you go for the standard installation, which is the normal installation. I'm going to go for the minimal installation because I don't want too much on this computer or in this virtual machine.
Minimal installation.
So I'm going for the minimal installation.
Download updates while installing Ubuntu checkbox checked.
Now this will come with the exact same packages as Ubuntu Mate because all Mate has done is just added Mate packages and not changed a single bit.
Install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware and additional media formats checkbox not checked.
I want to check that one.
checked.
Install graphics drivers and stuff.
Quit push button, back push button, continue push button.
And then we go ahead and click continue. And now it's looking for any operating systems on our disk. If it finds any, it will ask, what would you like to do with that operating system?
0%. Erase disk and install Ubuntu. Selected radio button.
Erase disk and install Ubuntu, that's what we want.
Advanced key, quit push button, back push button, install now push
I'm
button.
going to click that, make it nice and simple.
Write the changes to disks. Dialog if you continue, the changes listed below will be written to the disks. Otherwise, you will be able to make further changes manually. The partition tables of the following devices are changed. SCSI 3000 SDA. The following partitions are going to be formatted. Partition #1 of SCSI 3000 SDA as partition #5 of SCSI 3000 SDA as X4. Go back push button. Continue push button.
Click continue. The installation is
Install
now
frame,
beginning.
100%. Panel.
I'm going
Text.
to...
London selected.
Yep, London's just about right.
Back push button. Continue push button.
For our time zone anyhow.
09 push button grade. Install. Your name. Text. 0%.
I'm going to just enter my credentials here.
JORDAN. The name it uses when it talks to other.
I'm going to call my computer MimiMux.
Select GEMEMUX. Pick a username. The name it uses when it talks. Pick a username. The name it uses when it talks to other computers. Your computer's name. Text. MimiMux selected. Pick a username. Text. Jordan select. Choose a password. Password text. Confirm your password. Require my password to log use Active Directory checkbox not checked.
Nope.
Continue push button.
And we don't need to do anything else. We just wait for Ubuntu to finish installing. And that is the same
73%.
for a lot of Ubuntu based distributions. It's going to use that installer. The Ubiquity installer, which has been known to be accessible.
79%.
Except if you were running Ubuntu
100%.
20.10. In that case, it wasn't accessible, so you were just pretty much stuck on an LTS.
0%.
They fixed it in Ubuntu 21.10 though. Which, if you haven't seen my Ubuntu Mate 21.10 video,
10%.
you can go ahead and see that. But right now Ubuntu is being installed. Now, because I've got plenty of time to do whatever I want after the installation, I'm going to show you how I set up my Ubuntu system and how I like to customize things.
11%.
So typically what I do after an Ubuntu install is install the Mate desktop environment.
12%.
Because, quite frankly, Mate is more accessible than GNOME. And we install the base Mate. We don't install the Ubuntu Mate desktop.
27%.
We're just installing the standard version of Mate. Okay, we are just about getting somewhere with the install. Of course, it is uninstalling packages that came on the installation media, meaning that we can install the latest versions of those packages via Snap or Flatpak later on. Although, I recommend that you delete everything to do with snaps.
67%.
I don't like using snaps, and quite frankly, not everyone does in the Linux community anyway. I'll also show you my tip.
81%.
I'll also show you how to download and install Google Chrome as well. The
87%.
The quickest way to download and install Google Chrome, that is, via the terminal. For all those people who want Google Chrome and have just installed this Linux distribution. Because
89%.
I love Firefox, but I have multiple devices, so I'd rather use Google Chrome because I keep all my content in sync with all my other devices. And I'm planning to use this VM as my daily driver anyway. Yep, there's nothing wrong with using a virtual machine as your daily driver OS. And plus, if something does go wrong, you can just revert.
92%.
You can just revert to a previous snapshot. That won't happen with your main OS on your host machine. So, this is why VMs are the future of computing. So, Ubuntu is still installing.
93%. 94%.
Let me make sure the Chromebook is still awake.
Pause. Stop recording.
Yep, we are still up and running.
95%. 96%.
96%. My PC's got a solid state drive, so of course it's taking a lot less longer. Even
97%.
even in a virtual machine. But then again, this computer is really powerful. Is really powerful for its price anyway. It's an Acer Aspire 5.
94%.
So the latest one, well, a newer one anyhow. So yeah,
95%.
pretty good. Ubuntu is almost done. That progress bar is still moving ahead. Look at it go.
97%.
Now when it boots up, depending on your system, but what I'm going to have to do is boot it up twice. Because Ubuntu likes to, the VirtualBox likes to, when it reboots, it likes to reduce the volume of my VMs for some reason.
100%. Installation complete. Dialog installation is complete. You need to restart the computer in order to use the new installation. Restart now push button.
So we're going to restart. This is going to be the first restart. Please eject the installation media. I'll just simply have to press enter. And Ubuntu should actually be booting up right now.
Screen reader on. Window. Jordan push button. Zero tab. Not listed. Push button.
And here we go.
Left U.
Our VM is quiet.
Tab. Jordan push button.
Uh.
Tab. Not listed. Push button F.
Okay, how do I?
Left alt.
How do
Left
I?
M. N. B.
I need to know how to shut the VM down.
Escape.
Uh,
Left F1. Left F4. Left F3.
I'm going to let Windows take care of this.
Oracle V Virtual Box button. Ubuntu Virtual Mess Move X Group Show Alt Reset Close Alt Save State Alt Add P Power Off Alt W. Oracle VM.
And boot it back up again.
Menu Seclo Move X Group Start Normal Start Alt F Oracle VM Virtual Box Manager Window Split button. List Ubuntu powered off Oracle VM Virtual Box. Ubuntu starting Oracle VM Virtual Box. Ubuntu running Oracle VM Virtual Box.
And this will restore the default volume we had on our virtual machine.
Screen reader on. Window. Jordan push button.
And
09 push button grade.
Here we
Jordan
are
push button.
in GDM3. So I'm going to press enter to type my
Return.
password in.
Password text. Black circle. Black circle. Black circle.
And
Screen
here,
reader on. Frame. Next push button. 09 push button. Frame. Next push button.
here we are in the GNOME initial setup. I recommend you navigate this with the flat review keys. Before you go ahead and install Ubuntu or any Linux distribution, really, read the articles about Orca in the official Orca manuals, which you can find on GNOME, the GNOME website. Orca is developed by GNOME, after all.
Accounts. Online.
Online accounts.
Account skip.
I want to skip that. Can I?
Set up live patch. Push button.
There we go. Set up live patch. You need an Ubuntu account to use live patch. I don't want to use live patch because
Legal notice push button. Previous push next push button.
I'm going to click next. So this is actually your Ubuntu welcome screen.
Next previous help improve Ubuntu next. Help improve Ubuntu. Ubuntu can report information that helps developers. Icon. Improve it. This includes things like the computer, model, what software is installed, and the approximate location you chose, Europe/London. Show the first report legal notice.
I want to send all this because it's likely you downloaded Ubuntu for free. It's worth telling Canonical what your the specs of your computer and what software you're using, because a lot of the times they'll include that software in the next version of Ubuntu. In this case, because a lot of people are using LibreOffice, so LibreOffice was included in the latest versions of Ubuntu, replacing OpenOffice. So I'm going to go ahead and
show the first legal notice push yes. Send system info to Canonical. Selected radio button.
That's selected, so I'm going to go click next.
Previous push next push.
And let's see what we got next.
Next previous welcome to Ubuntu next. Privacy. Location services not pressed toggle button. Allows applications to determine your geographical location. An indication is shown when location services are in use. Uses Mozilla Location Service. Privacy policy. Privacy controls can...
I don't care which ones we've got because we're going to be installing a different desktop environment anyway.
Toggle button not privacy link. Previous push next push button.
And you may notice that it has remembered our Orca settings from our installation media, which is pretty cool.
Next, previous ready to go done. Vertical scroll bar 0%. You're ready to go. You can use software to install apps like these. Push button, icon, pitch on. Code Zoom client, Spotify, Slack, community.
So you can get started by installing some applications right away from the software center. But I suggest you don't do it right now because you're new to Linux and you wanna just have some fun messing about with the environment.
Code. Zoom client, Spotify, Slack, pitch on community, Android Studio, Microsoft Teams, Preview Creator, Plex Media VLC, OBS Studio.
You can actually install VLC right now if you want to, but I'm going to wait till I have access to a terminal.
GNU Image Manipulation Program.
And GIMP. Oh,
Git Kraken.
GIMP.
Discord. Zero ad. Push button. Open. Software. Now previous push done. Push button.
And we're going to click done. Now, I'm going to show you a nifty trick that you can do. Go to the terminal.
Jordan at Mimimux. Tilde frame.
Yep, I've called my computer Mimimux. Mimimux, that's what I've called it. Do a sudo apt update.
sudo apt sudo password.
This will update our software index.
0% working. Hit :1 http://gb.arc.
And for those who use classic Ubuntu, I'm going to do something nostalgic.
Reading package lists. 0%. 3 in release.
Well, I'm actually going to install these together.
Why? Command not.
So I'm gonna. I think you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do sudo
sudo
apt
apt
install
install
Ubuntu
dash
Ubuntu sounds
sounds
Mate
mate extras
and light DM
lightdm
and include VLC in there as well. VLC and VLC plugin FluidSynth for playing MIDI files. And let's let it get on with the installation.
Reading package lists 0%. Reading package lists. Done. Building dependency tree 0%. 5 done. Building dependency tree reading state information done. Note, selecting mate desktop environment instead of mate no.
Well, let's click yes on that.
0% working. Get colon 1 http://ubuntu.archive.ubuntu.com/ubuntu focal/universe AMD64 lidka 1-0 AMD64 0.4.2 4 MB/13.3 MB http://gb.archive.ubuntu.com/ubuntu focal update/mate 1%.
I'm pressing Control to introduce.
1.4 MB/119 MB 10%. 4% 82 fluid sound font GM 12.5 MB/119 MB 10% 2% 82 fluid sound font GM 41.9 MB/119 MB 35% 2005.2 MB/119 MB 55% 3155 KB/S54 7.4 MB/119 MB 73 5% 82 fluid sound font GM 89.1 MB 11 MB/119 MB 93 3 MB/119 MB 94% 2000 get colon 138 http://gb.archive.ubuntu.com/ubuntu focal update/universe AMD64 libo nexa 24 AMD64 2.3.0 6% 191 mate control center common 1681 KB/1938 KB 87 per 5% 223 mate user guide 2.
Okay, I'm going to pause.
68 KB/7
Pause recording.
And I am back. Everything is installed, just like we wanted it. Now, before we go ahead, I'm going to show you how to enable a login sound, so that when you log into Ubuntu, it'll play a sound to let you know that you've logged in, and in my case, it will open the screen reader. Now, what you're going to want to do is, from your current session,
window,
search for Startup.
over, startup applications push button.
And this is what we want.
Startup applications preferences dialog. Additional startup programs. Table with 4.
And what you want to do is click
Add push button.
Add.
Add startup program dialog. Name. Text.
And to enable the Ubuntu login sound, this is why I installed Ubuntu Sounds earlier, because the Yaru sound theme doesn't actually have it's not what I call a login sound theme. Okay, so let me see where I'm up to.
Command. Name.
I'm going to call it login.
LOGIN. Login.
Sound.
SOUND.
And we're going to tap
Command. Text.
follow along with me. We're using Pulse Audio to do this. PA play
PLAY.
all one word.
Play. /USR /SHARE /SOUNDS /UBUTU /STEREO DESKTOP full stop. Login. OGG.
And that will enable us to hear a sound on login.
Browse. Push text. Cancel push add push button.
I'm going to click add.
Startup applications preference.
And now,
Remove push edit push button.
what we can finally do is
Window.
shut down.
Over. Power off push button. Dialog. The system will power off automatically in 60 seconds. Restart push cancel. Restart power off push button.
In
Oh,
virtual box
I want to power off because I've also changed my display manager to use Light DM, meaning it's easy to switch to the Mate desktop from the GNOME desktop. And what we're going to do is start up
Menu.
Ubuntu again.
Set low move X remove group start up normal start all deck Oracle VM Virtual Box Manager window split button. Ubuntu powered off Oracle VM Virtual Box. Ubuntu starting Oracle VM Virtual Box. Ubuntu running Oracle VM Virtual Box.
And if I think we'll get a bongo sound as well, I think. There we go. There we go. The telltale sign that we're ready to actually use our system. So let me turn on Orca again.
Screen reader on. Login screen frame. Enter password for Jordan
What you want to do before you enter your password is go to
Session options push button.
Session Options.
Return. Ubuntu default push button tab. Ubuntu onward tab. Back push button tab. Mate push button.
Click on Mate.
Return. Enter password.
Let me just log in.
Wallet.
And if you've done things right, you should hear your login sound.
Screen reader on.
Yep, that classic Ubuntu login sound. Just love it. Although it's not the sound that originally shipped with the first version of Ubuntu, Ubuntu actually used a completely different sound. But I'm unable to find that anywhere, and these are the ones Canonical are giving you. Now look at that, here we are in the Mate desktop. Now before I end the video, I want to show you how to download and install Google Chrome. For those who want to use Google Chrome without opening a browser. So let's just make sure that we have wget installed, because you're going to need this command. I'm going to go into my terminal.
Jordan at Mimimux, tilde frame.
Mimimux.
Jordan at Mimimux, colon, tilde dollar.
Mimimux.
Jordan at Mimimux, tilde.
Just the way he speaks says it. Alright, do we have, let's try it.
WGETWGET, UBUNU 2022-0.
Yes, Ubuntu wget is installed.
EYI, command not.
So I'm going to CD into my downloads folder.
CD, capital LONDS, Jordan at Mimimux, colon, tilde slash downloads dollar. Jordan at Mimimux, tilde slash downloads.
Okay. Now, here's what we're going to do. If you don't want to open your web browser, but you really want to install a different browser, like Google Chrome, and you don't want to use Chromium, because heck, Chromium isn't meant for daily... The standard Chromium browser is not meant to be used as a daily driver, or really as your main browser, because it's meant for testing. That's why the Chromium project recommend you use Google Chrome as a daily browser. And not only that, but Chromium has recently lost its ability to sync with your Google account, so you've got no choice but to use Chrome. Okay, so how do we install Chrome? Well, here's what I'm going to do. Follow along with me. wget.
wget.
And we're going to be using an HTTPS
HTTPS colon / DL full stop DGOGE full stop COM /com LINUX
Linux
DIRECT /direct GOOGLE -CAME -STABLE underline CURRENT underline AMD 6 4 full stop DEB
and press enter.
2022-02-09-1349-26 https://dl.google.com/linux/direct/google Chrome table current AMD64.deb resolving dl.google.com dl.google.com resolving dl.google.com dl.google.com 142.250.187.238 2800:1400:4009:815:200 connecting to dl.google.com dl.google.com 142.250.187.238:443 connected HTTP request sent awaiting response HTTP request sent awaiting response 200 OK length 90,845,912.87 application /x Debian package saving to Google Chrome table current AMD64.deb Google CH 0%
And
T command not
that should have downloaded now, so I'm going to go
pwd/home/jordan/downloads Jordan at Mimimux
and it's in our downloads folder, and I can do an ls command.
ls Google Chrome table
And
current
here we have Google Chrome. Now if you don't want to open a graphical software installer, then here's how we install Google Chrome. Sudo,
sudo
because you have to do it as an administrator.
sudo
apt
apt apt,
install.
install, install.
Now you want to tell app to look in a local area, so don't tell it to look in the repositories because Google Chrome is not there. So what we want to do is do a dot
full stop
slash star
full stop
dot deb,
deb,
and this will install any locally stored Debian packages that you've got, but it will also go out and look for those dependencies should they be required. So I'm going to go press enter on that.
Deb, sudo password for Jordan.
And of course I'm going to type in my password.
Reading package lists, 0%. Reading package lists, done. Building dependency tree, 0%. 5, done. Reading state information, done. Note, selecting Google Chrome's table instead of /Google Chrome's table current AMD64.deb. The following NEW packages will be installed: Google Chrome's table, 0 to upgrade, 1 to newly install, 0 to remove, and 163 not to upgrade. Need to get 0b/90.8 MB of archives. After this operation, 291 MB of additional disk space will be used. 0% working. Get :home/Jordan/downloads/Google Chrome's table current AMD64.deb Google Chrome's table AMD6490.
So I can confirm that it's been installed because if I try and do let's just do a pwd command.
pwd/home/Jordan.
Yep, it's installed. Now I'm going to log out and log back in again.
Menu, shut now, log out door.
Because it'll give the desktop a chance to refresh the menus.
Alert, log out or cancel push, log out push button.
I'm going to log out.
Screen reader on, login screen bullet. Screen reader on.
And now, is Google Chrome installed? We're going to check that. So I'm going to go into my applications.
Menu. Access right into Office menu. Internet via Google Chrome.
And here we are. Google Chrome is indeed installed. I'm not going to launch Google Chrome this very moment. I'm going to do that off camera because I don't want to film myself setting my Google Chrome installation up because believe me, I am using this VM as my daily driver or operating system. So what I'll have to do is boot into a Windows and then boot into Ubuntu. Because originally I wanted to install Ubuntu on this computer, but VirtualBox doesn't work with Orca, so it's not accessible with Orca. So what I've done is I've installed Windows 11 on this computer. And if you watched my Windows 10 installation video, it's that version of Windows 10 we installed that I've just upgraded to Windows 11. And I decided to install a few Linux distributions in a virtual machine. So this Ubuntu VM will be one of my daily drivers. And the good thing is I've got multiple VMs installed, so I can switch between them instantly if I want to use different Linux distributions. Meaning I don't have to reformat drives and stuff because all my distributions are in one place. So on this VM, on my VirtualBox at the moment, I've got Debian, I've got Dev1, and I've also got Trisquel Linux, and I've also got Slint installed. And now Slint is an accessible version of Slackware. And for those new to Linux, I really don't recommend Slackware because you do have to have some knowledge of Linux, and Slackware doesn't really have a package manager to begin with, so you have to. Luckily though, your Slackware repositories, you can easily access those, and you just simply manually download Slackware packages that way and use the tools provided by Slackware to install those. Other than that, Slint is a pretty nice Linux distribution to get your hands on. I recommend you give it a try if you're really good with Linux. Now, I've got nothing else to do with this Ubuntu installation, but let's see what packages we have installed. Now, we did a minimal installation, so we shouldn't have that much. I'm going to go check what applications we have. So I'm not going to announce them. I'm going to let Ubuntu do the talking. So here we go. Well, actually, it'd help if I go to my desktop.
Google Chrome.
Well, of course we've got Google.
Menu.
There we go. And I'm going to navigate our applications menu.
Accessories menu. Archive manager. Calculator. Characters. Lists. Endramper archive manager. Files. Fonts. Mate calculator. Mate font viewer. Mate search tool. Passwords and keys. Plumer. Screenshot. Take screenshot. Text editor. Archive manager. Accessories graphics menu. Document viewer. Eye of mate image viewer. Image magic. Color depth equals Q16. Image viewer. Mate color selection. Graphic internet menu. Firefox web browser. Google Chrome. Firefox web browser. Internet office menu. Actual document. Document viewer. Mate dictionary. Actual document viewer. Office sound and video menu. Sound. VLC media player. Sound. Sound system tools menu. Charger. Deconf editor. Log file viewer. Logs. Mate disk image mounter. Mate disk usage analyzer. Mate system monitor. Mate terminal. Power statistics. Snap store. System monitor. Charger. Deconf editor. Log file viewer. System universal access screen reader. Universal places menu. System menu. Preferences menu. Administration printers. Software updater. Software and updates. Users and groups. Printers. Software update. Administrator control setup. Preferences menu. Hardware menu.
That reminds me as well, you probably like me, don't like snaps. So, we want to get rid of snaps. So I'm going to go into my terminal.
Jordan at Mimima.
Me mugs. Why did I call my computer that? Sudo
sudo
apt
apt apt
uninstall, purge, auto purge, sorry.
AUTOPURGE.
This will purge the target package we are trying to remove, but it will also purge the dependencies as well.
Auto purge.
And we're going to auto purge snapd.
SNAPD. Sudo password for reading package lists 0%. Reading package lists done. Building dependency tree 0%. 5 done. Building dependency tree reading state information done. The following packages will be removed. Snap asterisk. 0 to upgrade, 0 to newly install, 1 to remove, and 162 not to upgrade. After this operation, 134 MB disk space will be freed. Do you want
Preparing
to continue?
ellipsis, preparing
Y/N.
ellipsis.
Microsoft OneDrive again.
Y. Reading database, 50%. 8 Y. 9 Y. 230,779 files and directories currently installed. Removing snap 2.49.2 plus 20.04. 40% hash hash hash. 60% hash hash hash. Processing triggers for desktop file utils 0.24-1 Ubuntu 3. Processing triggers for MIME support 3.6 for Ubuntu 1. Processing triggers for GNOME menus 3.36.0-1 Ubuntu 1. Processing triggers for ManDB 2.9.1-1. Processing triggers for dbus 1.12.16-2 Ubuntu 2.1. Processing triggers for BAMF-daemon 0.5.3 plus 18.04.20180207.2-0 Ubuntu 2. Rebuilding /user/share/applications.
And we've gotten rid of now we don't have any snaps installed because we got rid of it all. And that just makes the system a lot more stable. Because I don't like snaps, and neither should you. They're proprietary. But then again, we did install Google Chrome, which is also proprietary, but I need Google Chrome because I like to have access to all my content on all my devices. But snaps are, well, they're against the philosophy of Linux. Anyway, I no longer need my Chromebook in this location, so I'm going to go put it back. Oh, and it should go without saying, you can set up your screensaver preferences as well, but we don't need to do that. I'm going to do that off camera. I'm just going to enjoy using Ubuntu. Now, what did I do with my charger? Yep, it just fell all the way back down there again. That helped. But That's it, my friends. You now know how to install Ubuntu with Orca. And of course, this is just like all the other Ubuntu installations we've done, the Ubuntu-based Linux distributions. If there is a Linux distribution that you want me to do next that you know has accessibility features, let me know in the comments, because I will do those. I will do those installations for you if you want to see those. Go ahead. Because I want to cover as many Linux distributions as I can that I know that are accessible, so that you've got a choice of what Linux distribution will suit your needs when the time arises and you want to use Linux as your daily driver. But that was Ubuntu, and I must say I could do with a cup of tea after this. Just like I said when we were installing Debian, if you remember rightly. Anyway, I'm going to leave you to it. Yeah.
50. Pause recording. 5100. Pause recording. Stop recording.
This is Jordan signing off, saying, have a good day, everyone.